Hey guys, welcome to another video tutorial, and this is the first of a video series that I'm going to be doing on Supabase. So what is Supabase? Supabase is an open source Firebase alternative. My guess is because you write Flutter, you probably have heard of Firebase. Now, Firebase is from Google. So yeah, Flutter is also created by Google. So it makes sense to have heard of Firebase. But then there is an alternative called Supabase, which is pretty good. And this one is open source because you can self-host your Supabase instance and everything is open source. You can run it locally and it will work out of the box for you. But for this series or this tutorial, I'm going to be using the Supabase Cloud, and which helps a lot. And yeah, you can use it to build a full stack Flutter app. That way, you can use it as your backend. You can write edge functions and so on and so forth. Let's see what it gives us. It gives us a Postgres database, which means you have a SQL database as opposed to Firebase that uses NoSQL, right? So you have SQL database, and yeah, it uses Postgres, which is trusted by millions of people, right? And with that, it has built-in authentication where your user can sign up and log in. It has providers that you can use, like your Google authentication, Apple, everything built in. You need to just include it in your app, and it works out of the box. And it also has this edge function. So instead of writing a full-fledged backend for your app, you can move some of the logic into edge functions, and you just deploy and call the function, and it works same way Firebase functions work. Yeah, it's familiar. It's look the same. And then you have storage where you can store all your images and stuff. If you want, you can bring your own storage like Amazon S3 and the likes. And you also have real-time experiences, meaning that if you create a table, you can watch that table, watch for changes, real-time stuff. Pretty good. Yeah, if you work with ML models as well, Supabase helps you to embed those models. And then when you create tables on Supabase, they give you APIs for you to use to connect to that table. So instead of writing a backend to connect to the DB, Supabase provide us this stuff out of the box. So you can go ahead and sign up on supabase.com. Sign up with your email or your GitHub credentials. Everything works. So I've created a new account for the purpose of tutorials that we'll be doing. So let's go to the dashboard and let's create a new project. And it will automatically give you some default organization because you need to create organization. And because this is for tutorial, I'm going to select educational. And then you have a plan pricing. You have $0 per month, $25, $5.99 per month. If you go to the pricing section on the supabase.com, you see what it entails. But as far as I know, for the free version, you are limited to 2 projects, active projects. So yeah. Now we can create the organization, and it will allow us to create the organization. And under an organization, you can decide to create a new project. So you see, we have a new project, and then we have a project name. And for the purpose of this tutorial, we're going to call it Temi Codes Tuts. And you can have a strong password. So I'm suggesting a strong password here. For the region, I'm going to select Canada because I live here. And there are also some security options that you want, but I wouldn't bother about them as much. Just keep it default, Postgre. If you want, you can change them, but just leave everything default for now. And then you can go ahead and create a new project. So now creating a new project will give you a couple of things that will allow you to connect to that database. For example, you have project API keys, which you will be needing if you are going to be connecting to Supabase on the client on your app. Most times you won't need this in your client, so keep in mind. So mostly what you need is the anon key and the Supabase URL here. So they give you a unique Supabase URL for you for the app. They mentioned that in the 2025 they are going to change the way they are authenticating, right? They are going to be using a different set of API keys for us. Now the project is ready. It has authentication, storage, H function, real time. So, like I said, you need the project URL and the API key, which is your anon key here. So we're gonna take note of that. And on the left here, in your dashboard of the project, you have the table editor, database, authentication, storage, and the likes. So as we go deeper into this series, you will see how each of them works and how you can set up some of this. But let's quickly look at the authentication. You can create a new user here on the dashboard and you can have it auto confirm the user. And you see it comes out of the box. You have policies, which you can do row level security. And those policies are basically just to protect your data, to tell which user have access to some sort of data. For example, you can say only authenticated users can create, can write to a table, can read, can delete from a table, blah, 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 and the likes. And then you have this provider here. By default, we have the email provider. So you can see it's enabled here. You can toggle if a user should confirm email or not. And secure password change and all of that. There are a couple of options. So for the next tutorial that we're talking about Supabase authentication. We're going to be using this auth provider as well. Okay, good. So you can go ahead and look around. You can see all the auth providers that it comes with, which is great. So if we go to, because we're talking Flutter, if you go to pub.dev and you type in Supabase, and you can really see Supabase Flutter here. And it's pretty simple to use Supabase with Flutter. Now, in your main method, you just need to add widgets Flutter binding that ensure initialize, which makes sure that all the method calls is initialized before the run app. And then you will have the await Supabase.initialize. Remember the Supabase URL we had before. If we go back to the home, remember this project URL, you just need it here. And the anon key that we have, we're going to put it as the API key here. And boom, to log in, you just call the instance of the client, you just sign in with password, put the user email and password, and then you can use the stream on auth state change to listen to if the user has authenticated or not. And yeah, there you go. It's easy. For the database, you simply create a table. On the table, create a new table, add the name of the table. Do you want to enable row level security? Blah, blah, blah. Once you do that, from the client, you can select from the table name and add some filter for it. So in this series, you're going to learn a couple of how to do all this stuff. And you can see we have real time. You can listen to a table for change in the table as well. So this is the start of the series. I'll see you in the next video. Remember that to also grab my Udemy course at the description of this video to learn Dart. So you need Dart to you need to understand Dart to be able to write Flutter. So I've created one of the best Dart courses on the internet on my Udemy. So make sure to grab that as well. I'll see you in the next one. See ya.